and our reporter Ntokozo Khumalo. You know, FlySAfair cancelled 26 flights today, and it's left passengers at major airports like OR Tambo as well as Lanseria in limbo. More than 200 pilots downing tools over failed wage negotiations. And Ntokozo, good afternoon. Again, what's the latest from where you are? It would be, really interesting to hear from the consumers themselves how much of an inconvenience this has been and whether it's been a boon for other airlines taking on some of those who couldn't rebook or get onto their FlySAfair flights.
Hi, Iman. Indeed, well, I don't know if you just did see, but there is a passenger who was asking me what is happening here, and we've been trying to get those insights from them, but I suppose the frustrations, with them not wanting to get on camera, rather trying to solve some of the delays that they are facing here. As we know, 26 flights that are already cancelled for today, and we do have Kirby Gordon that we'll hear from FlySAfair on just the impact already that they've seen. The 11 o'clock hour was where we did see another peak in passengers who are coming in. Some have gotten sorted, being moved from the check-in line to the ticket sales to be able to rebook those flights. And I know that the passengers who are due to be on the 20 to 12 flights to Cape Town from OR Tambo have been moved over to the check-in line and have now moved over to the boarding gates, Iman. But I'm just going to move out of shots as we see that the lines are again, slowly creeping up again, with the queues getting a little bit longer with that uptick of the 11 o'clock hour. And we are going to try, because some of the passengers that are on queue are not passengers like the ones that Kay has the camera on, are not ones that were impacted by the cancellations. So the queues here, a mix of people who are just checking into their normal flights and flights that were not cancelled, but some of the other passengers affected by the cancellations. So we did hear from parents, as you see on camera right now, people with their children going to school. Earlier on, we heard from parents taking their kids back to university, with a lot of them actually writing assessments today. So being concerned that if the flight is cancelled and they're unable to make that rebooking for today, what that actually then means from them. So I am just waiting to hear from Kirby here as well, because some of the questions that we've got, Iman, from the passengers here is the concern around whether they will have any cost to them then rebooking some of those flights. We also heard some of those who did manage to get on a flight saying that then they will be looking to other airlines to book their return flights tickets. So we are hoping to be able to get some of the passengers willing to talk to us, on the record, as those who really were frustrated in the morning did speak to us, and then to also hear from FlySAfair on what it means for consumers if they will be facing any additional costs when it comes to that rebooking. So we'll hear from him as soon as he's available. But right now, as it looks, Iman, there are two lines, one for the economy passenger as well as one for priority. So we will go back into the queues, but here is Kirby now. So let's hear what Kirby will have to say quickly when it comes to that. Kirby, thank you so much for talking to us. So 26 flight cancelled, and we've been talking to some of the passengers here around that. One of the concerns is whether they will incur any additional costs when it comes to them, rebooking their flights and booking a flight back. Talk us through that, just in terms of the communications that your team is sending to them in terms of those kind of issues.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, we had commitment from a number of our pilots to be able to fulfill the schedule today. The full schedule is 174 flights, but we received word late last night from a number of them that they were no longer available to do the flights. And as a result, we have had to cancel 26 flights today. So immediately last night, messages went out to all affected customers using the booking details or the details that we had at time of booking. And we're working very hard now to try and reaccommodate as many of those customers as we possibly can. And obviously, where necessary, issue full and immediate refunds.
And improving some of that comms now, because some of the passengers were also like, well, we're not sure what's exactly happening. We're just moving from one line to the next. As the week then progresses, because we're not sure how long the strike action will continue, what should consumers look out for, and how do passengers then just check? Because the way they're checking on that list, if their flights are on there, what are the steps that they should take going on for the rest of the week?
Well, that's absolutely it. I mean, I think there are two parts to it. The first is in terms of communications. It is always challenging to get hold of people, especially at the very last minute. And as you can see, there are a large number of passengers at any given point. So we do the very best that we can on that front. But a central point of information that's always valuable to take a look at is our website and our app. So all of the information about any disruptions is published there. We've got a travel updates page, and then there's also a media center, which gives a little bit more background to what's going on. So absolutely everything is kept live there, and there's a full list of all flights that are impacted there. So if any customer is out there and unsure whether or not their flight has been impacted, that's the first place to go take a look-see. That's on FlySAfair.co.za, and then look for the travel updates section. In terms of the rest of the week, we proactively shaved our schedule down last week already. So all of those impacted customers have been made aware already last week as to what's going on. And given what we know now in terms of who is available for working, given that today is the first day of the strike, we're really confident that we have the rest of the week covered as the schedule is published, and don't expect any more cancellations at this stage for this week.
Kirby, thank you so much for those insights. So, Iman, as we heard it there from Kirby Gordon, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for FlySAfair, they're not expecting any more interruptions for the rest of the week, that they've got then pilots to cover any eventualities that may come through, and encouraging then once again for passengers who are unsure on whether their flight is affected to visit the website and the app. So we are going to talk to some of the passengers on how the lines are moving now, and whether they are getting that assistance and getting on their flights, Iman, with no extra cost.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Ntokozo.